What do you do if you can't see the future?
Do you have to have an imagination? One of my favourite words. I'm the director of an education college, but for me, education is learning about things that we already know, things that have already been studied. The word imagination is so incredibly special to me because it's thinking about what is possible that might not have happened yet. What can I imagine to be true? And this piece of land here there's just nothing. It's just 20 acres of nothing. However, that's what we saw when we first moved here, and I'm sharing this with you because it doesn't look like that behind anymore. This is the front part of the 20 acres, and I want to leave it like that because I love just wild, just emptiness and loneliness and you can't see anybody or anything. I really love that. But when we first came here, and a lot of people said, why would you buy a property? It's like this, it's got no trees, it's just brown grass, you can't grow anything out there, it's really windy, it's really cold, it's really hot in the summer, it's really frosty and foggy. Why would you want to live there? And my imagination said, I can see myself living here because it's so beautiful. And one of the amazing things about here is it's surrounded by, in the summer, just magnificent mountains that just take your breath away. But in the winter, those mountains are covered in snow. So I can do a 360-degree turn and just see white snow-capped mountains everywhere. Who cares, Rowie, where you live? And I get that it doesn't matter what Rowie does. The question is this, your imagination. What are you wanting your life to look like? What are you imagining that you could possibly do with your life? And what's the connection between what I want and what my imagination can see? I need to make it happen. So here's where I am now. This is what I don't have. My imagination says I would like to live my life this certain way. What do I need to do to make sure that I can achieve that? And I started my life like that. It's a very personal thing. But at 13 years of age, I wanted to be healthy, fit and strong for the rest of my life, and at the time I wasn't. I wanted to have a career or business that I loved because I could see lots of people that had jobs that they hated. I wanted to be financially free because I could see how awful it was for people who were struggling for money, how they argued and fought and treated each other badly because they were hassled and annoyed and frustrated and even angry because they didn't have enough money. And I could see those relationships going downhill very fast. I watched people's relationships break up, divorces, nastiness, ugliness, and I was involved with a lot of people who didn't like who they were. And I share that with you. I went to a private boarding school. I used to board during the week and go home. I call it the strong end because weak people have weekends. But I would go home for 2 days at the end of the week. And during the week, at the boarding school, it was an international boarding school, so there were people from all over the world and teachers from all over the world, and interesting headspaces to look at and imagine what I wanted and what I didn't want. And one of the things I learnt with my because I've got a great imagination, I can visualise things that don't exist. But I don't know if I was born with that. I just decided this is where I am now, this is where I want to go, what does that look like? And the neuroscientists share with me beautifully that if you can imagine it, you can make it real. If your brain is capable of thinking of it, creating it, turning it into a picture, then your brain will do whatever you tell it to do to turn that imagination picture into reality. And the reason we know that, of course, is that everything that's ever been achieved was once in somebody's imagination. Whether it's a car or a plane or a computer or a fridge or a motorbike or a book that was never written, the person who wanted that to happen had to imagine it first, and then they put a plan together and then they made it happen. That's how the human brain works, and that's how we can work. I look at the sun every day, and because I love the sun. Obviously, all energy comes from the sun, and I'm standing out here in the sun. But how does the energy that comes from the sun that creates everything else on the planet, surely whoever you believe in, we were designed not to have an ordinary life. Whoever created the sun and gave everything energy, whether it's animals or plants or humans, were we meant to just exist through life, just survive through life, or were we meant to thrive? Were we meant to be excited about getting up every day? And they have been my driving forces, because yes, I have a background of Christianity religion, but it was never about the information that I was given was never about positivity and happiness and live a great life. It was always about if you be bad, you won't go to heaven, you'll go to hell. But I figured that whatever you believe in and whatever the other people that were teaching me believed in, if you have a look around you, it's pretty obvious that something is gorgeous in the world. You can look for the ugly stuff, but there's just the sun in itself that creates the energy gives us so much, I think, optimism and positivity about what's possible. And for me, that is my imagination. So rather than it can't be done, it won't work, it can't happen, what a silly idea, I'm always about, I look at the sun and go, that thing with so much energy has created a brain or gives me the energy as a human being to think clearly, to make decisions, to be a healthy, fit, strong human being, because just the energy to get puffed and lift heavy, all of that comes from the sun. And I would like my imagination to be driven by the positivity of the sun rather than the negativity of what the world throws at me every single day, which is why I'm standing out here in the middle of nowhere with the sun shining on my face, asking you to use your imagination. And not you. Of course, you can do whatever you want. But what about our kids? Is it possible that we stamp imagination out of our kids? Because our kids imagine what they would like to do for the rest of their life, or who they'd like to be when they grow up, or what they would like to do or achieve. And we go, no, you can't. It's not possible. You're not smart enough. You're too tall. You're too short. You don't have enough intelligence. You don't have enough money. It won't work for you. And there's some of the things that really, I find that really sad. If our kids were to wake up every day, breathe in fresh air, look at the sunshine and say, what's possible for me today, rather than it's not possible for me because somebody told me that I'm not smart enough, or I'm too tall, or I'm too short. So if you are a parent, a teacher, a coach, a boss, or a leader, and I always ask this with passion, and this is my begging position, if you are using your imagination, could we please teach our kids to use theirs rather than stomping their imagination out? And if somebody says to you, I think it's possible, or I've got an idea, or what if we tried this? Wouldn't it be really nice to say, what a great idea, how can we make it happen, rather than it can't happen, that's not possible. If somebody can imagine it, if somebody can see it in their own brain, as adults, shouldn't we encourage, inspire and motivate that person to turn that imagination picture into a reality? And I'm asking that so incredibly, again, in my begging position, because everything that has ever been achieved was once considered impossible. Every person that said, I want to create a car, I want to fly like a bird, I want to create a plane, the internet, computers, robots, everything that we use every day, somebody had that in their imagination. And I'm sure somebody else said to them, you can't do it, it's not possible, it won't work. So the beautiful thing that happened to me the day I came out here, I looked around and said, I could live here, it's beautiful, and my imagination went crazy on what I could do and how I could make it a beautiful place to live. And I love having an imagination, and I'm really glad and happy and excited that I was given one, and I would like to encourage other people to use their imagination. How about you? And yes, I sing positively every day because I think we're very privileged to be human beings that can think for ourselves and decide how we want to live our life. And that's why I sing every single day. I feel good, na 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 na. I knew that I would now, na 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 na. So good, yeah, so good, because I've got an imagination and I can use it, and isn't that awesome? Woohoo!